Have you ever wondered if you can purchase and apply pesticides in Pennsylvania without being a certified applicator? The short answer is yes, in certain situations. Hi, I'm Emily Rojic, an educator with Penn State Extension. There are many misconceptions about the legal use of pesticides. In this video, you will learn about scenarios where non-certified applicators can and cannot legally purchase and apply pesticides in Pennsylvania. To know whether you can purchase a pesticide, you need to know its classification. In the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, evaluates all pesticides for potential hazards they pose to humans, wildlife, and the environment. Based on those hazards, they classify the pesticide as either general use or restricted use. Restricted use pesticides are specifically labeled with the words restricted use. They can only be purchased from a licensed pesticide dealer, and the buyer must provide proof of certification. Individual states can impose additional restrictions to the EPA's classifications, so a state can classify a pesticide as restricted use, even if it's federally classified as general use. So, what does this mean for a non-certified applicator? You may purchase any pesticide that is classified as general use by both the federal government and your state government. You cannot purchase restricted use pesticides. We've discussed purchasing pesticides. Now let's look at situations in which a non-certified applicator could legally apply a pesticide in Pennsylvania. Other states may regulate pesticide certification and application differently, so you'll need to check the laws if you plan to use a pesticide in another state. The main factors to consider are ownership of the property and the type of property where the application is taking place. In most cases, as a non-certified applicator, you may apply any general use pesticide on property that you own or rent, or property that is owned or rented by your employer. However, there are exceptions to this rule. A non-certified applicator may not apply pesticide if the property is a park, athletic field, campground, playground, swimming pool or golf course, an educational or research institution, a daycare with 7 or more children, or an apartment complex with 4 or more units. If the property is one of these types, you must hire licensed professional services for pesticide application, or you or your employer must apply to the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture to become a licensed pesticide application business. The licensed employer must then maintain at least one full-time staff member who is a certified applicator in the appropriate categories of pest control. Employees who are not certified applicators may apply pesticides on the property only if they are under direct supervision of a certified applicator. Direct supervision means that the certified applicator is within sight and hearing distance. Remember, if the property is not one of those special property types, you can apply a general use pesticide without certification. If the property is not owned or rented by you or your employer, then you probably cannot apply a general use pesticide, but there are some exceptions to this rule as well. One exception is if the property is owned by someone you know personally, and the property is not one of the special types mentioned previously. You may apply a general use pesticide as a personal favor with the property owner's permission and the understanding that the owner is legally responsible for the application and any resulting damages. Another exception is if you are a volunteer of an organization, such as a park or conservancy, that has a pesticide application business number. In that case, you may apply general use pesticides on that organization's property if you are under the direct supervision of a certified applicator who is employed by that organization. For example, if you're a member of a volunteer group for a state park and you want to help treat invasive plants in the park with general use herbicides, you may do so as long as a park employee who is a certified applicator is within sight and hearing distance of you. In this video, you learned that you do not have to be a certified applicator to legally purchase and apply pesticides in Pennsylvania. You just need to be aware of the circumstances in which you can legally use pesticides. Of course, there may be some scenarios in which the legality of applying a pesticide is not clear. In these cases, it's best to consult the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture Office of Pesticide Programs for advice. Contact information may be found on the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture website. And remember, always follow the instructions on the pesticide label.